Welcome to the Seer Show. Join us as we dive into the dynamic world of health, wellness, mindset, and fitness with the unparalleled guidance of lifelong knowledge seekers, Sifu Rafael and Nikki Gangemi. Sifu and Nikki will unlock groundbreaking insights with extraordinary guests from around the globe. You'll get the latest holistic approaches to well-being with a sharp focus on the powerful connection between mind, body, and soul. Get ready to take the leap. It's time to embrace a brighter and healthier future with us at the Seer Show.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good morning, Nikki. How are you?
Good morning, Sifu. I am excellent. How are you?
I am exceptional and getting better every day.
Yes, you are.
And so are you. Hey, you know, that zero at the end, when it pops at the end, I'm like, 0. I'm like, wow, that means we're ready to blast off, right? So
We're ready to get rolling. Yeah.
I'm excited for today's show. We have 2 exceptional people, and the topic today is pretty interesting. It's healing, awakening, and becoming. I can't wait any longer. Let's go ahead and bring them on. Maria and Ashley, how are you both?
Good day. Very well. You?
Exceptional, getting better every day. I'm going to say that anytime you ask me how I'm doing. You know,
He always says that. Yes, he'll never, say anything different.
I love that.
If I don't believe it, will anyone else? So I have to believe it first, right?
Exactly.
That is true. Yes.
That's
so
part of healing.
I have borrowed belief in the past from some people, where I just borrowed their belief until I believed in me a little bit more. Yeah.
Well, that's part of healing right there. When you can borrow something from someone else, and until it becomes yours, because that if you think about anything, right? A professional athlete didn't become a professional athlete because they woke up one morning and said, I'm a professional athlete. No, they borrowed, they learned, they practiced, they continued doing something until they became, right? So think about that, right? So borrowing from someone to believe, that's beautiful, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's very important. I had to borrow belief from my family when I had no more hope. I borrowed theirs.
Absolutely. Hope is something else that we need for healing. Let's dive into healing. Maria, you have healed in a way that most people are not capable of. And to me, I see that cape flowing on you, girl. It's so beautiful. You're so vibrant, so strong. Tell us a little bit about how your healing has helped you, because now you're using your healing powers, if you will, to help others. I love that.
Yeah, so I really appreciate your words. I guess I'll tell you a bit of the story. When I was 25, I ended up at the hospital with what I thought was food poisoning. And then somebody finally walks over to me after a bunch of tests and says, Miss, we think you're having a stroke. And I thought, what's a stroke? I had never even heard of the word. I was 25. English is my second language. Anyway, within 4 hours, I was paralyzed from the nose down, which means I also could not speak. And I was like that for 2 weeks before anybody even noticed I was conscious. They thought I was in a vegetative state. So I'm hearing crazy things like organ donation people speaking to my family, and just, wow. I cannot express. There's not the right qualifier, because it was worse than that. And so I had a very long journey. It ended up lasting 15 years, right? But now I use what I learned in that to help others. And that's how I finally healed myself through nutrition after doing all kinds of things: stem cell injections, hyperbaric oxygen therapy in Germany. I was just throwing noodles, and nothing gave me the results changing my nutrition did. When I already had what I thought was a good diet, and I put that in air quotes because the food pyramid is not exactly accurate.
Thank you for it's an incredible story. And when you talk about you healed yourself, I can only imagine what you were going through, or what was going through your mind when you're hearing organ donation. You're like, wait a minute, I'm still here. Cut that out. Don't have that conversation, right? Get out of here. You should not be having that conversation. I'm still here. I can hear you. Wow.
Yes.
Yeah. A lot of courage and bravery on your part, Maria, just having to be an advocate for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, because the medical system is kind of broken. I mean, we all know it's broken, and if you don't take care of yourself, they're not going to take care of you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I want to touch upon what is on Ashley's, after his name, Connected Heart. What does that mean? Talk to us about that. Connected Heart.
So I learned a few different ways of providing therapy: shadow work, biodynamic massage, so working from the body perspective and the physical, and then working from the neurological and the story. And I started to play with the tools. And then one day I was working with someone that was very close to me, and she had autoimmune disorders. In the past, she'd had cancers, polyps, cysts, tumors. And she was in a bad way when I held space for her in this new way that I was working. And within 45 minutes, all of the symptoms fell on the floor, Sifu. We were working with her heart energy. And I was doing some research at the time about the brain going into gamma waves and neurology and how it's connected through the heart and the gut. And this lady, her life was completely transformed. Within 24 hours, she'd done a few processes, and she now doesn't have the body that creates the environment that creates those kind of illnesses and symptoms, because her heart is driving the show. She has heart coherence. So I decided to call what I do Connected Heart Coherence Therapy, because when this is aligned with the gut, with the throat, when it's all aligned and we're all going in the right direction and speaking the same language, then things really shift and change. There's some amazing science out there, Sifu. You know, what they're starting to realize is human beings have the capacity to create all of the chemistry to make ourselves fit and well, but what we do is get in our own way emotionally, which means neurologically, and goes back to what you were saying at the start about belief. This is about core beliefs being shifted, and when they do, then things really come into alignment.
Yes.
If Maria did not believe in herself, she may not be here today.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, it sounds like you activated the belief system in you, Maria, that you would take control of your health, you would do that through diet, and you were all in, and you would do whatever it took. And so nothing else then mattered, and so your whole system was just driving towards creating that reality. And I should imagine your gut biome was then giving you the feedback that you were doing better as you changed your diet, got more attuned with your gut, and really started to listen to what was going on inside. And yeah, I think so.
And it's fascinating, the link between emotion and your physical health.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it all begins emotionally, I believe, but then there's also the physical component. When your immune system is doing well, then the emotional things, you're more resilient.
Mm. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I've worked with a few people with autoimmune disorders and chronic health issues and symptoms. I always work from the emotional perspective and to find out where this neurological imbalance came from, the argument, the conflict inside. And most of the time it comes back to early childhood. But yeah, when the neurology of the belief is shifted in the system and the person takes back control of their destiny, neurologically we then change. So yeah, I provide space for someone to walk the edge of their inner truth and to step past the inner blockage that's inside.
That's so
So
powerful.
exciting. Yeah, it is.
I'm thinking even of what Nikki said earlier, that she borrowed belief from others. Holy moly. That's so everybody, if you're feeling down and you see somebody who's up, go give me some of that. Give me some of that stuff. I want some of it. I don't want to be sad over here. I don't want to be depressed. And we are coming to a holiday season where so many people, they don't believe in themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Or they believe that they're not worthy. And I just want to say to everybody who is listening, you are worthy. You're beautiful. You are meant to be here, right? And yeah, we may have doubts, but you know what? Those are self-beliefs. Get rid of those. Start believing in the people who see you, people who say, hey, have a great day. Say, yeah, you know what? I will. Or if somebody says, you look beautiful, don't say, oh, thanks. Say, I'm going to accept that. Yes, I'm going to accept. So start to accept the beauty around you, and that will put a smile on your face. Look, when I said something like that, you all smiled. And that is contagious. When we smile, it does something to our brainwaves. It does something to our whole body. So if nobody smiles at you, there's that mirror. There's that mirror. Go to the mirror and make funny faces. Go. You actually start laughing at yourself, and you go, you know what? I'm pretty cool. I'm pretty cool. So I think that's part of healing is believing in you, right? And even somebody else may believe in you too. And even if no one does, you believe in you. Maria believed in it. Beautiful story, Maria. And I'm so happy that you did. And you had the courage to continue and flourish. And now you're guiding other people to find the beauty inside of them. So thank you for what you do.
You're welcome. It was definitely challenging, to say the least, at first, but things got better. One of the things that helped me a lot was doing yoga. Unbelievably enough, it actually lifted the dark cloud from over my head. I thought it was just physical exercise, but it turned out to be a very strong mental process.
Well, you know why that happens? Because you're in your body.
Yeah.
And in your breath as well, Sifu. So the intention of the yoga is to slow the breath down and to stretch out the body. And in all those places is where the story lives, through our core, through our hips, through our ribs. And so by holding positions that feel uncomfortable and slowing the breath right down and just allowing some expansion, it's almost like we reduce the capacity for the story to hold on in the physical form. So yeah, wonderful things can happen there. Or you can just turn up and think, oh, I'm just stretching for an hour. You can make it whatever you like.
That's right. Yeah, about 12 years ago, a therapist taught me how to deep mindful breaths, different breathing techniques. And I started saying mindfulness was my ticket to mental freedom. It made such a difference to just take those breaths. And that's when I started getting into yoga. And I found a huge difference in slowing down the mind, getting into your body, like Sifu said, being quiet, listening for your own wisdom that we have inside of us. It was life-changing for me.
Yoga is very interesting. I used to teach power yoga, which is a little bit different than your traditional yoga. And when you see people shaking a pose, it's kind of funny because I'm shaking too. But what happens is that you're working the muscles in a different way than weightlifting, right? When I do Tai Chi or I do internal breath work, because I also teach Hei Gong, Nei Gong, Qi Gong. I teach a lot of weird stuff, right? But the stuff is all based on breath. And that's what you were talking about, Ashley. The breath truly carries a message to our body, to our core, to help heal, right? Because your breath, as you take a breath in, you can be saying things to yourself like, I'm beautiful, I'm healthy, I'm wealthy. And it's not, when I say wealthy, it's not financially wealthy. I'm wealthy because I'm alive, because you cannot take any wealth with you when you go. When you go to the next side, you can't take, your fancy cars, your Rolex watches or whatever watches you wear. I wear no jewelry, right? So I'm ready to go anytime. Just so you know, I don't need, nobody has to take off my jewelry. And talking about jewelry, I want to talk about the awakening as well, because I want to share a quick story with you. It was December 24th. My brother was working for my sister, who owned a liquor store, with her husband. And he was making a delivery. And a drunk woman hit him. She hit him. He went up, came down. She ran him over again and then dragged him 75 feet. Now, someone reached underneath and instead of helping him, stole his watch he was wearing in that moment. And then, of course, there were other people there to help. But this one person decided, hey, you know what? He's not going to need it anymore. But the healing and the awakening happened for him in the hospital when he realized that, wow, I almost lost my life. And he had another chance at recovery, at doing more. So I think the awakening, just like for my brother, for so many people, including myself, I was in a coma when I was a kid. It's a new beginning. And I think Maria can attest to that because you see life differently.
Very.
You had to fight for the life you have now, right? And I think anybody who is awakening from a healing or an injury, anything like that, the awakening and the acknowledging that I get to do this again. This time it's going to be better. This time I'm going to shine more than I ever did before. So I thought I'd just share that with you.
Yeah.
When someone goes through an awakening, Sifu, it's almost like they see life and experience life through a different set of lenses. They hear it differently, they see it differently, and they speak and respond to it differently. And it's, like your brother, every single day is an absolute gift because it could have been gone by now. And so, but whereas before that, he may not have seen every single day as a gift. And I now certainly do. And there was a long period in my life where I didn't. And so I took it for granted, or it felt a bit stale or boring. It never feels like that anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of, I'll say us because I'll include myself in there, we wait for something catastrophic to happen Not that we wait for it, but it takes something catastrophic, a car dragging you 75 feet, Maria, with you with the stroke, and then being paralyzed for us to become awake. And it's like, what if we were just to become awake from hearing a conversation like this? Consider this a little whisper, right? Before the brick smacks you. And then you see it.
I'd rather have this conversation than the brick across my face.
Yes, yes, please.
Yeah, it doesn't have to hurt, but it does have to be an emotional experience for a person to be able to change their consciousness, their neurology, their story, whatever you want to call it. It has to be highly emotional charged, because that's where we got all this stuff from when we were younger, or whenever it happened. We had a highly emotional charged situation. The brain went into gamma waves and it took on a new belief and a new story. And so to be able to reset that or disperse it, we have to have an emotional charge. And so we have to feel it. And quite often that's painful. For some of my clients, there's some real eye contact in some of the moments of truth. And a couple of clients have looked at me and said, why is this so hard? Tears running down their face. And I'm like, because this is right on the edge of the truth. And you don't know what it looks like on the other side of it, but you also don't want to do what you've been doing up to now. There's no other choice but to own this new truth inside. Yeah.
And unfortunately, most people learn through their own experience. They have a hard time learning through others' experience.
Definitely. Yeah. You got to be ready, right? When the student is ready, the teacher appears.
Yes.
But there's too many people who are looking for the teacher, but they're not ready.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Too many people. Listen, as a teacher, as an instructor, as some people call me master, I've had so many people show up who were not ready. And yet they were singing this song like, I am gonna go in. I'm like, yeah, really? Show me. Proof is in the pudding. But don't eat pudding, right? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's a good point. I see that with clients as well. They'll verbally tell me, I'm willing to change, I want to change, I'm ready to change. And they're so married to their beliefs, it takes a lot to get them to, let go a little bit.
There comes a time when people say to me, how do you deal with that? How do you deal with so many disappointments with people who are gung-ho and then they're gone? It's gung-ho, gone, right? And I'm like, I've gotten used to it, right? So when somebody paints a great story, I'm like, what's the ending of that story? Talk to me then. Don't give me all your hurrahs now. I said, we'll celebrate together. But you got to be here for the party. Because otherwise, I have a party every day. Look, when Nikki says to me, and I say it every time, how you doing? I'm getting better every day. Why? Because I celebrate me every day. Every day, I'm thankful for what I have, right? And so I celebrate me every day. I don't wait for other people to celebrate me. But I will celebrate with you as long as you're here with me, right? So when I have a client that comes in, they're all gung-ho. I had somebody just yesterday, oh, I'm going to be with you. You need to do this for me. I'm like, okay, great. We'll have a chat. We'll see what that chat does. We'll see what your end result is. You guys have ever heard of the Dan Sullivan question?
No.
Yes.
And let me share it with you.
Yeah.
What would have to happen if we had this conversation 3 years from now, for you to have this amount of money, this amount of success, this house, this vacation, this wedding, what would have to happen between now and 3 years? And that's a great question. And it's a great book. Get the book. Everybody should have the book. And it's what would have to happen, say in 3 years, in 3 months, 10 years, for you to get what you want. And it's a great sales question I use all the time with people. And for example, if you're selling real estate, if somebody goes, "Oh, is that swing set come with the house?" As a set, I used to sell. I've done so many things. I don't sell real estate now, but when I did, I would say, "Is that real? Will that swing set make you buy the house,
Mm.
or would you want a better one? Or would you want to just the swing set? Because we can sell you the swing set. You really want the swing set, or do you want the house? Which one is more important to you?" And so then I have them picture. Now let's picture your kids on that. How many kids do you have? Oh, let's picture what kind of parties you're gonna have. What's this house? Who's gonna be cooking in this kitchen? Who's going? Where's your kid's bedroom gonna be? Is it gonna be this one? Is it gonna be that one? So it's a matter of putting the perspective into somebody's head of, I'm here now, but awakening that growth mindset, that growth of where do I see myself? And I think that's part of the awakening that we have to get into. Where do I see myself? Not just today, but in my future. And I think when we can awaken that way, our eyes are wide open. And so are our hearts, right?
Always. Yeah, that also touches on the becoming too. Right? When you're helping them to, see themselves in the house and what are they doing and the kids and all that, it gets them to future pace and see who they want to become.
So science proved a little while ago that our heart emotionally knows what's going to happen before it happens. And I won't go into why, because that's quantum stuff, and maybe not for now, a bit early in the morning. But our heart knows where it wants to go. It knows where it wants our life to be. We might not know how to listen to it, and we might not also know how to activate and then move in that direction, but it's there. And so, yeah, part of, as you say, part of the awakening is to start to listen to this thing and what it wants, what it needs, what direction it wants to go in, and then start to move in that direction. And as you said, Sifu, there can be barriers of struggle through that, because there's always the stuff that's got in the way up till now, because otherwise you'd already have that beautiful life painted and perfect, right? There's always something emotional in the way, or otherwise it would just unfold.
I gotta say, I haven't heard it today, and I love when you say this, Maria. When you introduce yourself in the CLA, the Connected Leaders Academy. I didn't hear it today.
I didn't say it today.
I need to hear it, because when you say it, I love it.
Hi, I'm Maria, the nutrition coach with a sexy voice.
Yeah, I love it. I love it every time you do it. I'm like, yeah, you go, girl. So yeah. And Maria's going to be joining us this coming Saturday, and we're going to have an event 2 days. Is it okay if we share it now? Can I share that with everybody? Take a look. Let me pop this. Oh, I don't have it here. I will get it and I'll bring it in. So we'll do that in a minute or two. Let me grab it.
Yeah, I love, it's in my interpretation of Maria when she says, I'm the nutrition coach with the sexy voice, is you brought in some humor.
Yes. Yes, and I also want to speak about the elephant in the room, because I know as I'm speaking, many people might be wondering that she sounds different. Does she have a sore throat? So I just bring humor to neutralize it.
Yes. And humor helps with healing as well.
Absolutely.
It definitely calms people down to give you the space, right? I have friends who are disabled, and the craziest things is that kids will point, because why is that person in the wheelchair? Why is that person walking that way? Why is that person speaking that way? And the kids are just being honest. They're asking honest questions. They're not being mean about it. But some people don't get the fact that, for some reason, I can't bring the video in. It says it's too long, but it's no longer than the other videos we have. But that's okay. So what winds up happening is that the humor in it is what sets people up. So a lot of times I've had people who are disabled, and they see a kid looking, they're like, hey, you think I'm funny looking? I think you're funny looking. And then all of a sudden they have a conversation with the kid, right? And then the kid like opens up and they're like, oh, it's pretty cool. You know, this is a nice person, whatever. And then they'll say, hey, you know why I can't walk? And then they'll talk to them, right? Or you know why I talk this way? Or you know why I walk this way? And so now they're helping that child be more. Well, they're humbling them in a way. Say it's okay that I'm different than you. So I think the humor is a good way to open up the gateway to knowledge.
Yes.
And it's so important to talk about it as well, Sifu. You know, as you said, the child isn't doing anything wrong. They're like, why is that person different? I don't understand. They just want in some context because they don't get what's happening. But you know, in our socialization, most adults would then tell the child off for pointing or making a thing about the thing, and it's like that just makes it more of a problem. It's then a taboo conversation. And it's normal to want to know, to want to understand.
I think it's even worse when adults, they don't ask, but you could see the question over their face, and they treat you differently, and you're like, okay, I'm just like you. Maybe I talk different. Maybe I can't walk. Maybe I can't do something you can, but I have the same feelings, the same. And a lot of people don't know how to deal with people that are different. And I think if we had just normalized that in their youth, like you said, don't make a thing about the thing, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's very interesting. When you were talking, Sifu, it brought me back to when I was a teenager, and I used to work at one's home daycare. And one of the little boys, he was like maybe 3 years old, he comes up to me and he says, why do you have dots on your face? I said, those are freckles. What are freckles? It's funny because a little kid said it. But I've also encountered some adults who say some things, and it's like when an adult says it, it's like, is there something wrong with that? Why would they say such a thing? So it's just it comes back to like socially acceptable, right? Socially acceptable for kids to say certain things, and adults, and we've got these different rules, right?
It's interesting because sometimes adults are the ones that need to be humored a little bit, right? And so sometimes adults are staring, they're looking, instead of going up to a person and go, hey, how's your day going? You know, just talk to the person, right? And we forget to be human sometimes. And I think everybody, to become, you got to become part of the world. You got to become part of society, and you got to accept everyone for who they are. Because listen, you didn't choose who you're going to be when you were born. Your choices came along the way. You made the choices. How do you act? How do you dress? Right? I dressed myself this morning, by the way. Anybody else dress themselves?
Yeah. It's good.
Yeah, right. I don't have a fashionista coming over and go, oh, makeup, kind of stuff. None of that. So, but we make a choice when we go shopping. Do we buy this shirt or this blouse or this shoes or this makeup bag, whatever it is, right? And as you saw, this is my makeup. That's the extent of my makeup. But we have a choice. So, and the way we evolve is a choice. and the way we interact with other humans is a choice. So that's who are you becoming is a choice. So that's why I love Maria, because she's phenomenal. I met her in Connecticut at an event. And she didn't say to me, hey, by the way, no, she never said a word to me about that. We just had a nice conversation, and I got to meet her that way. She didn't open up with, I had a stroke. It was none of that. We didn't even have that conversation. I found out later on because I saw her on the CLA. She talked about it a little bit. I was like, oh my goodness, right? But I didn't see you differently, Maria. I saw you just as another beautiful human being that I need to interact with. And I think that if we're going to become something bigger than we ever imagined, we have to accept other people who are not like us. None of you guys are like me anyway. So, and I hope that you don't want to be like me. You know, do you want to get up at 3:30 in the morning? You know, or sometimes at 1:28 in the morning? You know, it's your choice, right?
Yeah, and from what I know about you, Sifu, I would say that your ability to do what you do so beautifully, see the best in people and just the beauty in them, is because you do it with yourself. You love yourself. You see the best in yourself. You focus on, I'm exceptional and getting better and better every day. This is something you've been telling yourself for years. So it starts with you, with each of us. This all starts within us. And then we have the capacity to extend out to others.
So at this moment, I'm going to play a different video.
Okay.
Take a look.
You followed the rules, tried the restrictions, counted the carbs, the steps, and the failures. You're not lazy, you're exhausted from doing it all without real change. What if the problem isn't you, but the plan? Sifu's Mind-Body Method is a 90-day transformation built on 7 unshakable pillars: mindset, movement, nutrition, hydration, fasting, journaling, and faith. This isn't another shortcut. It's your structure, your strength, your reset. You don't need harder, you need better. Ready to begin? Start today.
Ta-da!
Ta-da.
Wow.
And being that we're all in health, right? I thought I'd play that anyways, right? And one of the things that I'm looking at every one of you, you guys all take care of yourselves, and that is so important in today's time, right? Somebody said to me recently, they go, why do people still smoke? Don't they see the warnings? Don't they see what's going on? And I'm like, some people get into a bad habit. Somebody introduced them to it. This, that, the other. I said, I can't answer for them, but I can tell you why I don't smoke. Right? So I can't answer for other people, but it looks like everybody here on this panel is in great shape and don't stop what you're doing.
And I have an interesting story about the smoking. I had a coach, and he said to me, if you smoke, you don't love yourself. I never touched a cigarette again after that.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
It's like a switch was flipped. He said that, and then you just stopped. It can be. Change can be that easy.
Well, I wasn't really a very heavy smoker, but I did smoke once in a while.
Yeah.
At least on the weekend. And when he said that, I was like, oh, that's so true.
He butted up against the belief. See how powerful beliefs are?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've helped people quit a bunch of different things. One of them was cigarettes, and I said to them, how much do you smoke? Oh, I smoke 2 packs a day. I'm like, wow, incredible. I said, what happens if you? So there's all different ways of quitting smoking. One is your belief, right, and a trigger. So I said to them, why don't you take 1 pack and cut the cigarettes, cut a quarter off every cigarette. And so you're only smoking 3/4 of a cigarette, and all of a sudden you're smoking less.
Mm.
They did that. Eventually they got down to 1 pack, and eventually we went to those. And eventually we were smoking this little thing. And I'm like, what are you doing with that stupid little thing? They're like, you're right. And then they eventually quit. But it took them some time. So now there's other ways of doing it that is faster. But I said, the other thing is with a habit, you have to replace it with a better habit.
Yeah.
Get rid of a bad habit and replace. Because you cannot get rid of a habit. Something has to fill the void. If you take a screw out of the wood, there's still a hole in it. You have to fill it either with wood putty or with another screw. It doesn't, you have to fill it. You have to fill that void.
Yeah, that's a great metaphor.
Yeah, a lot of people turn to addictions because there is an emotional thing in there that needs to be processed. As you say, there's a void, and if that core part is ignored, then the human being will naturally do something else to be able to fill that void, even if it's something that looks quite harmless, like shopping or distracting ourselves with a screen or whatever. It will do something.
Right.
I always say what you do in private shows up in public anyway. Right? People who binge eat, all those things, right? I only smoke, like Maria was doing, only on the weekends. Right?
Yeah.
And what determines a weekend? Don't have a weekend, have a strong end. Therefore, you won't smoke. See?
Like that.
I like that.
Yeah, that's one of my mentors said to me. He said, I think I said to him, I said, have a great weekend. He goes, weekend? He goes, I'm having a strong capturing that. I'm capturing that. That's yours for you too, if you want.
It's funny what we tell ourselves, like, I only smoke on the weekend. I used to socially smoke years ago, and I would tell myself that I only socially smoke. And then I was feeling stressed sometimes driving home back in the day when I was a teacher, and I drive home after a long day of teaching, and I would say, but I can only do this socially. And I told myself, well, I'm sitting in traffic, surrounded by people. This counts as social. And then I would and it's amazing to ourselves, right? So tell yourself a different story, and then maybe you'll behave differently.
What you just said is so powerful, Nikki, because we make excuses for our actions instead of taking on the actions and looking at it deeply. And one of the things that, in Sifu's Mind Body Method, and Nikki has been in it, one of the things I talk about is that people blame the way they gain weight because of their emotions. And they go, when I get sad, I just have to, I'm an emotional eater. No, you're avoiding the emotion.
Mm-hmm.
You're avoiding the emotion. So stop with the avoiding and take it head on.
Yeah.
Why am I sad? Why am I angry? Why am I upset? And take that on. And people say, guess what? You do emotional eating, that subject is still going to be there. It didn't go away.
Yeah. What the eating does is the eating process and the start of the digestion process almost puts a cap on the emotional stuff, because it's all churning around in the gut. And so if someone wants to disappear from that, then just filling it with and it's quite often junk food, right? What people will lean towards, it's the stuff that's full of fat or sugar or salt or the magic combination of the three. And in a small amount of time, it makes the problem go away, because they're having a very different experience of eating the thing that they say gives them pleasure. But it's only momentary, as you say, Sifu. And the problem is still there in the subconscious, swirling around to drive them to the next McDonald's.
Yeah.
Oof. Did you say the double arches?
I apologize. Yes, I did. I did mention them.
Oh, we lost Maria for a
We
second.
lost Maria. You said McDonald's, and she's like, I'm
Yeah,
out of here.
Gone. I'm out. I'm done.
That's it. There's
much.
a hard line here.
Well, we are at 45, so it is time that unfortunately, we have to end the show because I'm enjoying this conversation, by the way.
Mm.
And I want to thank you guys for allowing me to share, right, my shares. So Ashley, we're going to put your website across, and then just tell us what people can expect when they do join.
So, as I said, this came from working with someone with autoimmune disorders and other sorts of chronic illness symptoms. But the root of it was an emotional issue, an imbalance in the heart, basically, where she saw herself in the list of importance, and she was at the bottom all the time, and kind of gave herself permission from a belief point of view to be at the top or as close to the top as possible. So I went and my feet didn't touch the ground for weeks because I wanted to know what had happened to this person so that it could be repeated. Because if it can happen to one, it can happen to multiple people. I just need to know I used to be a designer and an architect and an engineer. So that's how my brain works. Like what happened here at a real fundamental level. So yeah, I created a new therapeutic process that I take someone through. And so it can be chronic illness or it can just be emotional challenge, there's so much anxiety out there, Sifu, and depression. It works wonders with that. It's really quick. But also, as you say, lack of self-worth, challenges in motivation, challenges in how people relate to themselves or to the outside world, their partner, their kids, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, it works on a plethora of levels because it's working with the neurology of our subconscious in the energy centers through the body. So it's one map and it fits the human being. So no matter what the problem, it will transform something if that person is willing to step over that edge. As you said, they've got to be willing to do whatever it takes to get what they came for. If they do, this therapeutic process provides the environment for them to step past what's always got in the way or what's holding them back. So, and I don't want to just be the therapist, I can't heal the world as much as I'd love to. So I've created a training program that's starting in March in Italy, and then I'm rerunning it in Jamaica in April. So super excited about that it won't just be me doing this. There'll be a team of people. And my dream is that this gets back into the public health space so that a doctor would refer someone who's got anxiety or depression or something, a chronic illness, to look at it from this emotional point of view. First, it's one session and maybe two, but mostly it's one, and it's life-changing for people.
So everybody, make sure you connect with connectedheart.co.uk. And I know Maria got thrown off or whatever, but I want to make sure that everybody follows her and go to her website, genuinelymaria.com. She is amazing for someone who went through what she went through and come out on the other side and want to help other people. That's off to her. That's off to her. And then I have to say, I have an incredible guest who started as a guest. And then I said, no, girl, you got to be my co-host. And she said, yes, I am just beyond thrilled that you said yes. So Nikki Gangemi, talk to us about you.
Thank you, Sifu. I'm so glad I said yes. I'm Nikki Gangemi, and I affectionately call myself a personal trainer for your mind, helping high achievers to quiet down that mental noise and to get clear on what they want and have that courage and confidence to consistently take action towards your goals by getting this out of your way. And you can connect with me by going to my website, nikkigangemi.com. And I'll turn it over to you, Sifu.
Thank you. I have so many different ways that I can help people reset, not only professionally, but personally, even financially, because I have so many different businesses that some people just reach out and they go, hey man, can you come to my business? I gotta know what you're doing, how are you doing it? And so I help people in all aspects, reset is really my jam. But don't eat the jam. So you can reach me at sifurafael.com. And if you want to get into the Sifu's Mind Body Method, just put SMBM at the end of it. And there you go. And we can connect. We can have a one-on-one chat. And let's help you reset. That's all I'm about, right? Thank you. Thank you, Nikki. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you, Maria.
Thank you.
I truly enjoyed this show. I hope you guys did too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I love
Absolutely.
the conversation.
Do me a favor, everybody listening, or if you watch it on the replay, hit hashtag replay. If you did watch it, send this to someone who needs to hear today's message. Thank you, everybody. God bless. Have yourself an incredible time. And guess what? Don't celebrate the holidays by yourself. If you are alone, you still have that mirror. Have a party. Dance in front of the mirror, people. All right. Take care, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.